Now we continue with the coverage of those marches. Special security measures have been put in place in KZN for today's national shutdown. This is in a bid to avoid a repeat of the devastating 2021 July unrest. Nqobile Madlala is in Durban, keeping an eye on how things are unfolding, and joins us now with the very latest. Good morning, Nqobile. We understand you are specifically in Glenwood this morning. How's it looking?
Well, yes, Mfundo, we are in Glenwood. In fact, we have seen now scores of people from EFF now marching towards a town. We understand that they've already started with their march. A lot of them have arrived in buses and taxis and so on. So a lot of them now marching towards town. We're hearing that they are probably going towards Louis Botha, which would be the central town. But of course, this will be affecting some of the businesses within town. And so it's important to find out from people like the CPF in terms of how they will be affected. As you can see behind them, the Metro Police also following the march. I mean, it's very difficult for many businesses at this point because they're not sure what's going to happen. How have they been affected this morning?
I think more so it's more about fear that has settled in due to the unrest. But we just want to guarantee and we want to reinforce this issue that this isn't an unrest. The EFF's calling for a shutdown. They're here, they're protesting. That's what they're doing. It's quite peaceful. You can see all manners of law enforcement are here on scene. They obviously have things in control. And all of that's currently here to protect the democratic right of everybody, citizens as well as the EFF. So this is not a one-sided thing. Ultimately, it's about everyone's rights, and everyone needs to have their rights fulfilled in terms of law enforcement, and we all need to abide by the law. That's basically where it is.
And I mean, would you say it's business as usual then today, because we saw the streets were quite empty?
Absolutely. I think businesses are fearful about what could happen or what might happen. And I think as a precautionary measure, many businesses have opted to remain closed. But it is business as usual. I mean, in the briefings that we've had with law enforcement, they said it was going to be business as usual, and it's their mandate to protect you if you want to operate today.
And now as CPF, have you been speaking to the people on the ground? What are they saying to you?
So basically across the way, since about 3 weeks ago, we started mobilization, especially in terms of the Community in Blue structures, which is the neighborhood watch wing of the Community Police Forum in itself. So with that being said, we've had meetings over the past 3 weeks with community, with the business sectors, and we've instilled in them that this is not an unrest, clearly. And it's basically the EFF, and it's what they're doing. It's within their rights, and we shouldn't be fearful. We shouldn't build fear within us. We should respect each other's rights in terms of how we move forward as a country, and they have a right to do so. With all of that, the community has really, I think this time around, or I wouldn't say this time around, but this time I think the community has put in and understood that law enforcement is prepared, and they're ready to do what it is that's needed in order to protect them.
And in terms of that synergy that is happening between the community, of course, and the security cluster, and we're seeing also with SAPS, would you say that we have enough people on the ground at this point? How are you seeing?
Absolutely. I think the CIB movement has grown exponentially in the past week, and it was very important for us to use this as a strategic tool to mobilize that way, because ultimately when it comes down to the issue of CPFs and CIBs, when you call for members to come out, they really don't, because there's nothing really affecting them. But when this affects them, then people start to mobilize, and we've used that as a tool to mobilize community, to say that we should always be in a state of readiness, in a state of mobilization, because we live in a volatile country. We've got the elections coming up next year. We don't know what to expect. So all of those things really are there, and it was really quite heartwarming for us to see the amount of community members that had come out to sign the code of conduct. But more especially, it was important for us as CPFs to make it known that we will not tolerate vigilantism. There should be no racialism. We should be speaking to non-sexist, non-discrimination, all of these things. And we can stand here today in front of the EFF as the security cluster, as partners of the security cluster, to say that we're here, but we're not here to fight with you. We're here to support you in whatever you're doing, as long as we all follow the ambits of the law. But also to note, the SAPS has made it quite clear that crime, or anything for that matter in terms of law, cannot be fought without the community being part of it, because it is from us and it is from within us that things happen and things tend to erupt, even if it's opportunistic or whatever it is. It comes from the communities themselves, and if the communities by far and large are not part of safety and security in the country, then that battle will always be lost.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. So more people arriving there, you can see. We're seeing a number also of people gathering in the offices. You'll remember this is EFF offices, so a lot more people have come here. We've seen them also speaking while being addressed. It continues to happen, as you can see there. They've mobilized. Quite a lot of people have come here. We've seen taxis. We're hearing that there is going to be buses that are going to arrive here. But if you see on those placards, Stand Up South Africa, there's a lot. Hospitals are no longer working in South Africa. So they're talking to quite a number of issues that they are going to be raising. But we are waiting to hear that route, of course, which direction it's going, because we're hearing it's going to town and it's going towards Louis Botha. But of course, we will continue to monitor what is happening on the ground to see what is the way forward from now.